Hi, everyone, and welcome again to my favorite day and your favorite day too. It is Monday. It is Mothers of Multifamily, and I have the amazing, and when I say amazing, she has so much experience, folks. Chat Steinwald. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor, Pili. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm honored to have you. So, ladies, Chat Steinwald is a native of the Philippines. Her dream as a child was to live in America. She would watch the sunset in her native land, knowing that the sun was rising in America. She knew that that was the land of the free. That was where she was going to make her life. She migrated to Los Angeles at the age of 23 and became a Dun & Bradstreet trust accountant and remained there for 11 years. And throughout this, she had her son. And then decided to open her own boutique spa in the neighborhood of Brentwood, California, so she could spend more time with her son, Mitch. Being a mother was the most important job and that she did not want to take for granted. Her spa was named one of the best in LA by Allure, InStyle, Time Out. But enough about beauty, folks. Let's get back to large multifamily. 21 years later, her son is now 30 and safely on his way. Chat has decided to close the spa and open up yet another chapter in her life. She now focuses on large multifamily and commercial real estate investing. Her mentor, the amazing Rod Cleef, has helped her build, and now Chat has 800 apartment units as a limited partner, and she's a general partner in over 208 units. Chat, welcome to Mothers of Multifamily. I'm so honored.
Thank you so very much, Pili. What an honor, and I am humbled by the introduction.
Well, it is all you, Chat. So my question for you, and I can't wait to hear what your answer is going to be. How throughout, and see, you're special because you've done the 9 to 5. You've done and created and sold and got out of an amazing business. And now you're in large multifamily. How did you do it? How did you do it and do everything it takes to be a mother? How do you do it?
Well, as a woman, first of all, I think we have that special grit and resilience, because we all rise above every challenge we go through. And so when I came here, I visualized, first of all, that I was going to be here in America. So when I was a kid, because my aunt, who was a nurse here in Los Angeles, would go home to the Philippines, to the island where we're from, and would bring us to the beach. And she would tell us, okay, it's sunset here now. It's sunrise in the US. And ever since then, I would go to the beach on the island, and I would look at the sunset and say, one day I will be in America and it will be sunrise in America.
I love that thought of the sun rising on your dreams and goals. You should write that book, Chat.
Yeah, thank you. And so it's all about, I didn't realize it, but it's all about visualization. It already started on my childhood, but I never knew, right?
That's
that
amazing.
I visualized to be in America. So fast forward, during college, my dad wanted me to be a nurse. And because everyone wanted to be a nurse to go to America. It's the easiest access to go to America. My dad did not want to. He said, you're going to be an accountant. And so that's it. It's cultural. I hope Filipinos is like, yes. Whatever our parents wish is a command. So I became an accountant. So now it's like, wow, I'm no longer going to be able to go to the States, but I had a plan B. I said the only way for me to get out and get to America is to be an employee of airline. And so I applied immediately. As soon as I graduated from college, I applied immediately for a job at Philippine Airlines. Luckily, I got the job as an accounts analyst. And in there, Philippine Airlines I knew that there's a benefit of 2 years that if you work there for 2 years, you'll get one international ticket to anywhere in the world that you like. So I
Awesome.
knew I worked 2 years and one day, Philly. I went to the HR, asked for my vacation, asked for my benefit, then went to the US Embassy. You have to understand, I was only 23 years old then, you know? So I go to the US Embassy, and 23 years old, that looked like 16. So the US Embassy lady said, "Why do you want to go to America?" And to Los Angeles, and I said, "Because I want to go to see Disneyland."
Oh.
And she stamped my passport 10 years visa. 10 years. Well, of course, 37 years ago, it was very easy to get the visa,
Yes.
Fast forward, I got a job as a trust accountant with Dun& Bradstreet.
Mhm.
But when I had my baby, I had so many ups and downs, of course. But when I had my baby, it was so difficult for me to be a parent full on, because there was no freedom of my time. It was
Yes.
a 9 to 5 job, but it wasn't just a 9 to 5 job. If I had a deadline, I had to go to, I have to work until 7, 8, whatever it required. So I felt so guilty parenting my baby. Oh my gosh, it was so hard because I had to leave my baby um, to a daycare. One day I picked up my baby and he was bit. He was 1 year
Oh
old.
no.
Bit at the back, big bite marks. And
Oh.
that's when I said, "Oh my God!" So you can imagine the
I can
difference.
imagine. I mean, let's stop here. Okay,
Yeah.
first, all the strength and goal setting it took for you to get to America in the first place. Oh my God. Anybody, okay, for my listeners out there, women out there, and gentlemen, think about this. Think about all the excuses you make to not get your goals. Now think about Chat. Think about all the excuses she could have made. She could have said, you know what, I live in the Philippines. My dad wants me to be an accountant. I'll just be an accountant in the Philippines. No, her dad actually gave her the ticket to get out, because he gave her the financial basis that she now has. It's amazing. Okay, now let's fast forward to baby. Oh my goodness, mom guilt. Hashtag mom guilt, hashtag it happens to us all. Oh my goodness.
Yes, you have no idea the guilt that I had. And so, um, but then again, as a mother, you do what is best for the whole household, right?
Yes.
So you do what is best for you, for the baby. And so at that time, the only thing I could do is, I remember telling myself, okay, I can't have my time with my baby, but I'll have a quality time. So from the moment I picked him up from the daycare, up until the day I drop him off to the daycare, I am 100% with him. And of course, Saturdays and Sundays when days off. So I wish I had the freedom. I wish I knew that there was any alternative, but 20 something years ago, there was no alternative. You had to be in the office.
Yes. And
So
let's clue in on what you just said though, because now that's a huge, I guess, key point that a lot of mothers are doing these days, is making sure that they're 100% with their children when they're with their children. Like,
yeah,
this is something I need to practice on a regular basis. Make sure I put the phone away. Make sure I'm not focused on anything else but my children when I have them with me, because I also put my children in daycare. It's
mhm,
what we have to do until
mhm,
we have the time freed up.
yeah, yeah.
But there's so many of us out there. There's so many women out there that don't put their phone down, that don't put 100%. So what you are saying, you started doing this before it became like the thing to do. You chose to be there for your son 100%, even though you did not have the time, the freedom of time. You chose to make freedom before you got it.
Yes, because I did not have a choice.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knows my whole story. I had the one of the roughest stories, but My ex-husband left me when my son turned 1. Left me. So I was a single mom. So that was even harder. And so I had no choice but to be there with my son 100%, because already he left for the Philippines and never came back. So that's also another, another thing where I have to be both the father and the mother of my son, So that's why, again, as I said to you, as a woman, you have to be resilient.
Yeah.
You have to just do whatever you need to do at that time.
So you're going to make me cry because my mom was a single mom. So I was your son. So my mom did the same thing. She made the choice to be there when she could.
Yeah.
She was there 100%. So kudos to you for making that choice, because it's not an easy choice, because you could be working and you can make yourself the excuse that you're providing for your son, but how you provide for your children is the face time you give to them, the one-on-one time.
Yeah.
So you're amazing, Chat. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
did you know, Pili, this is my first time ever to share my being a single mom. No one ever knows, not in any of the podcasts, but because this is about moms, because this is about, I had to share this. And
thank you.
It was tough, but again, as I said, we have to do what we have to do.
Single mothers are the most resilient human beings in the world, because they need to be on top of everything. They need to be on top of their jobs. They need to be on top of their children. And it's, gosh, and you worked for Dun & Bradstreet. You raised an amazing man.
For sure.
And you did it on your own.
I was a single mom for at least 4 years.
Okay.
And I met a very wonderful man that took in my son as his very own. So that's why I was so blessed. That I am so grateful to this day. He raised my son. So,
see, it's like that. It's partnerships like that, though, because again, the same thing happened to my mom. So my mom was a single mother until I was 8. And she met my father, my stepfather, but I consider him my father.
Yeah,
because these partners, these men that have come into my mom's life and to your life, they not only have to fall in love with you, they have to fall in love with your child. And in this case, my mom and me.
Yes.
So that's like the ultimate partnership. I'm gonna stop crying all over this podcast now. Let's get back to business. Resilience. Wipe the tears away. Okay, done. So let's jump into, you meet the love of your life, the man who takes on.
So now at Dun & Bradstreet, it was more and more difficult for me to work full time, because we had a boss that had absolutely no consideration of motherhood. And so my son started playing soccer games, t-balls and all that. And I needed to attend because of my, and I would say, can I come and work at 6 o'clock in the morning so that I can get up at 4, because my son's, and he would yell at me. He would make all these sarcastic remarks and all that stuff. So I told my husband, my late husband, and my late husband would say, that's it. It's time for you to do something and let's think of something else. And that's when I found, I created a small boutique spa, so that I will have the freedom to be a proactive mother. I will still have something to do. I will still have my own little income, and business and identity and all that, but at least I have the freedom to go to the doctor's appointments to my son without having to ask my permission from this corporate world, to sports activities and all that. As you know, as a mother, there's so many things that you have to do outside of a normal business life or career in as a mother. And so that is what I did. I decided to open a spa. At that time, about 20 something years ago, spa was a booming and trending business. So fortunately, we lived in a neighborhood that's like, you know, quote unquote wealthy, where all these movie stars and movie producers live. So I opened a boutique spa, just small, because usually those people, they don't want to go to big chain
Yes.
spas, you know what I mean? They want to be just stay in the neighborhood. So I was lucky in that way that I had that business going on, and I had no intention of growing it because I don't want to be in a position where I was going to be tied up too much, where I won't have time for my son. But you know, because it's still required. It's a retail, it was a retail spa, so that it required my presence, and also my clients wanted my presence. So that is why it still was a challenge. So fast forward, my husband died in a sudden manner. My husband that raised my son. And so now all of a sudden, my world turned upside down. Fortunately, my son already graduated college, and it's at that time just started working as a behavioral therapist for autistic kids at UCLA, and he still does that up to now. And fortunately, my son was independent, and my husband being he was a forensic CPA and had his practice here also in Brentwood, Los Angeles. Um, he took care of me because he's in the finance. He understood of that, you know, everything that. So he prepared everything so that fortunately I feel like I got the shorter end of the stick, because all we did was work. It's like during retirement, we'll do this. On retirement, we'll do that. And he died suddenly. So I felt guilty for so long. He's been gone for 7 years, and I felt guilty for so long that I felt like he got the shorter end of the stick. But now it's time to move on. You know what I mean? My world turned upside down. For 2 years, I developed insomnia, and one day I didn't know what to do. What is gonna happen now? Oh my gosh! He took care of all the finances because it made sense, right? He had his a CPA firm. All our bills, all our financial stuff was taken care in his office. I never saw a bill. I never saw a financial document. The only time I would sign documents is when he would bring the documents and for me to sign. I wouldn't even read because I had all my complete trust in him.
Oh my goodness. I keep on wanting to like say something, but guys, I'm crying my eyes out because I'm thinking about like the thought that, you know, we, like you said, we work and we work and we work and we have these partners and significant others that if we don't have freedom of time, and even being in large multifamily, we get into this for the time, but we find ourselves that we're always working and working and working.
Yeah.
And then what if one day that exact thing happens?
Yeah.
You wake up and you get that call, or it happens to you and you, like, what do you do? Like, oh my goodness, like, okay, I'm gonna stop crying all over this podcast again.
Yeah.
Ladies, the takeaway here is take the time. Nothing's more important than right now and the time that you have with your children, with your spouse, with your significant other, with your friends.
Yeah.
Take that time to say hello and goodbye, because you never know when the last time is going to be.
Yeah.
So take that from Chat. Chat's lived it. So back to you. This amazingly amazing man leaves you in a very quick way, what do you do now?
I was lost for about a couple of years. I had an insomnia, so naturally I would keep my TV on. And during, those infomercials, Billy, about
Mm-hmm.
real estate during those times,
Yes.
and, I said to myself, I need to do something. I need to, even though I knew that my husband took care of me, I need to preserve that
Mm-hmm.
nest that we've created, and so, or grow it. So I said, you know what, I need to do real estate, because he was in the real estate. We were planning to do real estate, and so I called that infomercial, signed up. To make the story short, I got in there, and by the time I know it, you have to understand, my brain was foggy, so I wasn't thinking. Got in there. For some reason, I was talked into paying 25,000 for advanced classes. That turned out to be a scam. I have my attorney working on taking back the money, because I knew people that already have been trying to get the refunds. To make the story short, that was the cost of my lesson in this real estate. But because of that, I was turned into reading all these real estate books. And because of that, um, loss I got, I was also introduced to podcasts like this.
Yes.
Never knew anything about podcasts before. So I was driving, and every time I would drive, I would scroll through the podcast, and I clicked on, for some reason, I clicked on Lifetime Cash Flow, which is Rodcliffe.
Nice.
And so I listened to it, and he announced, um, in 3 days, ladies and gentlemen, I will be in LA. Join me, blah, blah, blah. I literally exited in the freeway, pulled over, called, and said, do you still have tickets? And they said they still have. And I joined, and that was the start of my real estate career. And it truly, truly changed my life.
Talk about kismet. You go from basically the worst possible thing that could happen to you as a beginning real estate investor to quite possibly the best thing that could happen to you as a real estate investor. There's like a handful. I can count them on less than on my hand that I would recommend, mentors that I would recommend. And Rod is top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5. Easily top 3.
Yeah,
he is fantastic. He's just a great human being.
Yeah, human being.
And he knows a lot of things.
Yeah. And full of very high integrity. So again, as I say it to everyone, or to everyone that I know, integrity goes a long, long way. And so that is why, and I don't know, I tell it like a God's intervention, or the universe intervening, but it led me to Radcliffe, and that changed my life. And it led me to meet you. I've met so many wonderful people in here, and women. So that is why I'm
fantastic. So tell us just a little bit about your multifamily journey thus far. Like, where are you at right now, and what's your goals? Because the thing is, and for everybody that's listening, Chat is really good at goal setting. So I know from what she's told us, whatever goals she is setting, she's going to get. So what are your goals, and how are you going to get them?
It's funny because, 2020, I was looking at my goal, my book, my goals book, goal setting book. And I put it in there because you know how you're taught on how to do goal setting and stuff. I just write down, so like they said, put a goal that you almost cannot reach because you want to get to the utmost, the highest that you could possibly do. So I wrote down, this year, 2019, by the end of 2019, I will own 1,000 doors, and I will be a Jeep. But I was writing it without even thinking that I will even go near that number. of course, there's a lot of controversy about the measurement of doors versus, cash flow and all that. But I know my cash flow. My cash flow is excellent. Out um, it outdid my goal, as a matter of fact. So I'm very happy. So yeah, right
all
now.
controversy aside, like, you measure things, and this is, again, not only for you, Chet, but for my listeners out there, you measure things so that they make you continue moving on. So if you have to say, if you're a passive investor, you're a passive investor in $1 billion, then you say, I'm a passive investor in $1 billion.
Yeah.
Even though you might not be a general partner, you might not be an asset manager, but you still are investing.
Yeah, I am a passive investor in about 800 units, and I am a GP in about 200 something units.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And my goal right now, I put it in 2020. I'll be a GP and JV only. No more, limited partnership. That's my goal, because I really want to learn the nitty-gritty. The thing is, Pili, I don't want to syndicate anymore at my age. I don't want to syndicate anymore. I just want to, majority of my money work for me. But at the same time, I am continuously learning from this, enjoying this real estate investing so much, that with all the people that I meet, like you, oh my God, and we become friends with, that is what is all about. And then the freedom of your, time. When you need to, you can time block. If you need to rest, or you can need to vacation with your family. And then you can also, my goal is to give back as well, because the scalability in this multifamily investing is so huge that I didn't even realize it. That my goal as I go to my retirement and say, is to help out the less fortunate. So that's why I went to the Philippines, Billy, because I looked at my goals and I reached it, and my cash flow was, I said, you know what? It's time for me to give back. I want to go and visit because there are orphanages that we support in the Philippines.
That's amazing.
And so, it was started by my mother. So my two sisters and I went to the Philippines and went to visit them. And as a matter of fact, I had post in my Facebook page that I spent my whole day with my two sisters, feeding the infants, dancing with them, and just spending time with them. It's one thing to raise money and send them money, but to spend time with them was such a joy for us. And
not only a joy for you, but a joy for them. I mean, having that human touch, one-on-one, that's huge. That's huge. For my listeners out there, how can they help you in that journey? Is there a website that they can go to? Can they contact you directly?
They can contact me directly, but right now it's just a small church and community supported and private people supported, but I intend to really help. Like, for example, I just want to tell you one person, because one child, every kid has a story. One of them, I carried her the whole time because she was dropped off she was buried in a cornfield by her mother.
Oh my goodness.
And she was found by a farm worker. And so she was brought into this, and then there's another one that she was dropped at 8 years old by her parents. They just didn't want to parent her anymore. I don't know how people.
How do you do that?
Yes. And so, but no one, so the kids over there, they stay there until they are adopted. But this kid, she's now 18 years old, 16 years old, going on to finish her high school. So she's so afraid. Every time somebody goes and visits there, the nuns were saying, she would pray, I hope I can get adopted. And she never gets adopted because she's older. And so she's now 16 years old, and she's so afraid that she can't, and so I sort of quote unquote adopted her, but in a long distance, because I can't do it anymore because of the laws and restrictions and stuff. I said, I tell you what, how about if I sponsor you for your schooling, and until such time that you're independent, then you can go on your own. And she was just so happy.
My goodness. I mean, I feel really bad that she didn't get adopted, but talk about giving so much, Chat. You're basically, I mean, it's not one-on-one, you're not there, but you're sponsoring her. You're basically her mom.
Yeah.
So every time you go there, she knows she has a mentor in you. She knows she has somebody she can call and talk to, and that if she has a question on how life is supposed to be, how you're supposed to be, she can always turn to you. And
she's
that's more than she had before.
Yeah, I asked her, what do you want to do? And she said, I want to learn. It's just a vocational. I want to learn how to be a secretary, because I want to help in this adoption place, so that everyone will be adopted. Can you believe that? What an answer. Yeah.
See, out of the mouths of babes, like she could have chosen to be like, you know what, F this place, I never got adopted, I'm just going to be like the worst person and just go out there and, I want to make money and just get what I didn't get. Instead, she chooses, and this says a lot about this adoption, this home for these children, and it says a lot about you and your sisters and those people that have taught these children. It says a lot about them. It says a lot about teachers when their students will say, I want to stay and continue to help.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Talk about the heart of this kid too, right? I mean, it's the mindset and the heart and the character. So yeah, I'm so happy that I did that, because it fills my heart with joy.
Yes.
Make a difference, even just for one person. Like, even when I'm going to the supermarket and there's an old man walking, looking lonely, and I say, hello sir, how are you doing? And to make him smile, my God, that in itself already makes me feel good. You know what I mean?
Thinking about it, it's like, okay, my heart is happy for this day.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that is amazing, Chat. Before I let you go, because this has been, oh my goodness, I don't think I've cried so much. I don't think I've laughed so much. One more thing, because you created something, and this is the reason why we're friends. This is the reason why I met you. You created this amazing women's group called, I almost said Mothers of Multifamily, called the Multifamily Women's Mastermind. It's on Facebook, and it has been phenomenal. It was put together by you, by Michelle Pelt, and by Candace Pilgrim. Tell me a little bit about this program and how it helps women.
Okay. You know what, Pilly? I attended last year, I attended the boot camp of Radcliffe in Atlanta. And that's where I met Candace as well. And no, it was my second time to see Candace at that time. And, all the panels were all male. And I asked a question nothing to do with women, but for some reason, I don't know what prompted me to ask my last question. And Rod was like ready to wrap it up, because, it's time to go. I said, one more thing. Why is it that you guys are all men and there's no woman in the panel? And I'm telling you, Billy, the following day, every woman, at least 40 women, came to me and said, good for you for asking, good for you. And a light bulb went off on me. It's like, we need a multifamily women's group. So, and at that time, Candace and I were talking, and then it just, you know how you talk about it, we talked about it. And then it just we went on our way. We got busy with business and all that. She got busy. She's very
Mm-hmm.
successful businesswoman right now. Um, and so one day, I was talking to Michelle for some reason, in one of these like this, and she said, Candace and I are planning to do the multifamily. And I said, really? I talked to Candace about it. It's like, let's do it. And immediately on that same day, we did it.
That is amazing. And I have to tell you this, Chat. This came at the exact time it needed to, because not only were women having this conversation within Rod Cleef's world, this
Mhm.
conversation was happening within Joe Fairless. This conversation was happening in Michael Blanc, because Michael
Yeah.
Blanc's panel was
Yeah.
completely women, except for I think he had one. And somebody posted the question in his group, and all of a sudden you had, like, I had conversations with multi-million-dollar women
Women.
who were just like, yeah, they didn't understand. They didn't understand why that was happening. So like this consensus, this like world view that all these women were having kind of like condensed into what you created. You created the exact thing we were all thinking about at the same time. So
Oh.
I would clap, but it would like do damage to my microphone. But it's huge. Like, I don't know if you guys understand this. It's
We didn't even
huge.
realize it. We didn't even realize it until we launched it on air. The response was just amazing, because you have to understand, we had to, because there's a lot of women's group out there already that's just general real estate.
Yes.
So ours is purely focused on multifamily.
Yes.
And so we are that. So right now we have about almost 350 or more than members that are all crushing it, including you. You're the rock star. So, which, by the way, I will be sending you an invite for us to guest in our Zoom call every month. I'm gonna, yeah. So yeah, so it's amazing. So Michelle, Candace, and I, we have this great partnership and collaboration, and so it's happening really well. We're planning to do some more big things for the 2020 for this.
I cannot wait to hear more about that. So for all my ladies out there that want to get into a women's only mastermind for multifamily, look up multifamily women's mastermind on Facebook. It is a great place to go. It is so welcoming, and you get a ton of information. So Chat, before I let you go, one more thing. If you could give one more thought to my mothers, my women, my all my ladies out there, what would it be?
Just do it.
Yes.
Don't let fear stop you. Don't let challenges stop you. There's a lot of other ways. If you really want to make it happen, just do it. Just work for it, and work hard for it, and focus.
Thank you so much, Chat. Work for it, focus, just do it, ladies. Thank you so much for
And, may I add, as a
Go ahead.
mother, do not feel guilty at all. You have no idea. My son is 31 years old, and all this time I've been so guilty. And this time my son keeps on saying, and he works with kids, autistic kids, and in the spectrum in UCLA. And he keeps on saying to me, Mom, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And he looks up to me, and he keeps on telling me how he is so thankful that I worked hard. He never forgot all those hard times for us.
That is amazing. So for all you mothers out there that are in it, know that there is silver lining, that one day your children will turn around and say, thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Chat for being on today. I'm so grateful.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Bye.